Welcome to Confluence, the podcast where hospitality, leadership, and mindset come together. Join your hosts, Santiago and Kristen, co-founders of The Columbian, a multi-cafe and roastery in Canada, as they delve into the transformative power of these three key elements on your business.
Kristen, episode number 5 of Confluence podcast.
We are here ready with a really interesting episode. I cannot wait to get started. Why don't you tell us what our topic is today?
Today is all about the show. It's not about the fake, uninterested interaction when you are in coffee. It's about the intentional human performance that we are able to do for people while serving them coffee, or using coffee as the vehicle for us to just make them feel great.
So, you just talked about the show. So one of our values, as we shared in a past episode, is putting on the show. So what does putting on the show mean in the context of our company?
Putting on the show, it's like one of our core values. Like it's our DNA, is what we do, is one of our uniques. Like we are here to make people feel special. Like that's why the Columbian exists. It's not about the coffee, it's about how we make people feel.
So what do you think, like how would you, if someone asked you, okay, putting on the show, how do you get your team to do that? Like, what do you actually do to make people feel special? I have people will ask me more often than not. People are making comments about their own experience that they've had with our team in our cafes. So how would you explain like the small details of that kind of performance of actually putting on the show behind the coffee bar?
Well, the way I see it is like you're casting for people. So you have to start with the right team. So you have to find the people that want to care for people, because that takes care of half of the equation.
Yeah.
The other one comes through creating very high expectations around guest interactions and like guest service. It also comes with training, because everybody's perception of what putting on the show might be different. So it's like getting everybody aligned by creating systems or creating expectations through training. And that's where we really use a tool that we call GWC, which is, do you get it? Do you want it? Are you capable? So I can help people with the getting it. Like we can explain it to them and figure out, okay, like this is what putting on the show looks like when you're doing this interaction with a guest.
Yeah.
This is what it looks like when you show me that you're capable of doing this. But ultimately, they need to show me that they want to get it and be capable, because otherwise I can't help them. So you have to start with the right people.
And that is such a huge piece. And I would say like this aspect of, hospitality and putting on the show, I think it really does boil down to having the right people who actually want to care for people, because hospitality really, it isn't really about service or serving people. It's really about seeing people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's this is something that I want to drive to everybody that is in hospitality, and just people that think that they're in service, because I hear a lot of people saying, oh no, I'm just like in the service industry.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is that? Like, you're not a servant. Like you're caring for people. So we're not in service. We are there to create experiences for people. We're not in the food and beverage, because these days anybody can fry an egg, anybody can make coffee. Like that is the reality of it. So what are we really doing? Well, we're doing hospitality. That's the sport that we're playing in. And even for the people that work for us, I tell them we are a high performance sports team, and our sport is hospitality. And like when you put it in that context, it's like you want to be on the starting lineup. Like you need to perform like an athlete. And what does that look like then? Well, it looks like some days you're not going to feel great, but you still have to get out there on the stage, which is our bar, and make sure that you're hitting it out of the park every time by like greeting people. Like there's nothing more special than remembering somebody's name, or like when they first walk into a shop and we take their name, but then when they leave, we say, hey, Charlie, thank you for coming in. And they look kind of like in disbelief and like that wow moment. That's what I live for. Like, I don't care how good the coffee is if I can wow someone. And if I can transmit that to our team, and I see our team doing this, and like now we talk about unreasonable hospitality because I have been really inspired by that book. It really talks about like, man, like what else can we do to turn that cup of coffee or that pastry or that little bit of food that we're making for them into just like an unforgettable experience. So I think that's what it looks like, and that's what the calling is for people that are in hospitality.
I love that. So, if you take, within the context of us having like a coffee-based business that's very hospitality focused, both of us know firsthand how much extra effort and energy it takes to actually run a business that truly is hospitality focused. And, people listening may wonder, like, why the focus? How does having a hospitality focused business, putting on the show for your customers, how does that actually like affect the business that you're running? Like, why would we put so much energy and effort into this? We have amazing coffee. We have beautiful shops that you build. Why? Why do we go this extra mile?
Because people sometimes remember the product that you serve them, but they will forever have a memory of how you make them feel. And when I think of our business and how we want to affect the communities that we go into, if we make sure that we make people feel special, seen, respected, valued, where you show that gratitude, guess what? Next time they think of coffee, they're not going to think of like, they made a great coffee. It's like, they made me great. They made me feel amazing. I'm going to go there because I also need that in my life. Because again, we're in a digitally connected world that is so disconnected from that human interaction. Like, I see it all the time of where people just like come in the morning, they're like sleepy, they're maybe not in the best of moods, and we are able to shine a light onto their day. And by the time they leave the store, their whole mood has changed. And I think that gives people purpose, and that you being the person that actually that is able to provide that for people, like that's priceless.
Yeah, that was the exact word I was just thinking in my mind as you were saying that. It really is priceless, and I think attracting people that feel the same, like when you're hiring, is a huge piece. So being like upfront about our values and who we are and what we do is such a huge thing. I think when you're looking at, putting on the show, you might get images of like a performance, like in a theater. So, when you think about that, it's like, okay, you kind of think about like acting, but this is more than that. Okay. We're not pretending to be someone that we're not. I think that gift of hospitality is within us. And, but I think, there's still that element of like, when you're learning and maybe training with us, it's like, okay, is this natural? So like, how would you guide someone, if they're trying to, create this very intentional hospitality piece? How would you guide someone training their team to make sure that the experience is like very genuine and doesn't feel like forced or fake?
Well, I think humans are very smart, and like we can tell if somebody's really genuine or not.
Yeah.
So I think it has to come out authentic, and then the first of all, so like you have to start with the people, like I said earlier. Yeah. So you have to recognize the people that are joining your team that are very gifted and that want to care for people, and you can see that when you hire them, like you're asking them the questions. Tell me about you, like. Do you have close ties with your family? Do you love your friends? Like, what makes you happy? When somebody tells me, my family or my friends or or my circle is like, okay, this is a person that cares about humans. The people that say, oh, well, all these other things make me happy, but they don't tell me that they want human connection. It makes me hesitate, and I probably won't take a chance on him, because it's all about what we're trying to build. And every time that I bring somebody into the Colombian, it's essentially you're putting somebody into that puzzle that needs to fit into the culture, but not just fit. They need to add to the culture in their own way. So it's very cool when you see all these people kind of like meld together, and in their own way they find it. How do you do that? Well, I mean, it comes to training. And I think that's where you have to have that intentionality behind training, of like telling them what expectations are. A lot of people don't understand what hospitality really means, of like, hey, like, you want to acknowledge people. Like, think of the times that you have gone into a hospitality business where the front line person does not even acknowledge you because they're scrolling on their phone, or they're talking to a coworker. Well, what we do is we tell them that the till, everybody calls it a till, and it's just like, that is so transactional. We actually call it the host station. Why? Because they're coming into our spot. They're coming into our home, and we are hosting these people. So even with the intentionality of the name, so like, if you're at host, this is what you do. You wanna acknowledge them, guide them through the experience, because that is the most important spot. So like, if I had a restaurant, it would be the same thing. Like, the hostess, like, they are the ones that are starting that experience. So for us, it's a lot of training surrounding every touch point of guest interaction. Because the reality is that making coffee, making food, baking pastries, all that stuff is so like systemized. Like, that is easy to do. I can teach anybody how to make coffee. But I cannot make somebody that does not like people. That's just not natural. And then that speaks to that authenticity of, we want people that naturally are gifted or want to care for people, even if they don't have the skills. And we live in a world where everybody's like, oh, what experience do you have? Do you have experience? And it's like, I don't care if you have experience. Like, I care if you're going to be a good fit for our culture and you're going to add to it. And if you're actually going to have that gift of caring for people. So that's what I will say to somebody that is like trying to go that way. Look at who you're bringing in. Look who's in your house. Look at you, because ultimately you're like the director of this show. And if you are not setting the stage for these people to perform, then it's your fault that they're not performing. So ultimately, you need to take full ownership for what happens in your store or what happens in your business. And I think that's something that me and you have been very conscious on from the beginning. And we have put a lot of effort into the people that we bring in. And we care a lot for our employees, because we have an amazing team. And how can we not? Because they're caring for our dream, for what the Colombian is. And the only way that we can do that is by caring for them. And it's super cool. Like, this past weekend, we had that state of the company with 65 beautiful people. And it's just like the energy in that room with all of them. Some people that are just like brand new, commingling with the people that have been here. And it's like they've known each other for a very long time. And when you are able to gather such a cohesive group, it's super cool. But that only happens through intentionality to put on that show. And I don't know, that's what I would say. You have to be intentional.
And I think even speaking to, talking about our state of the company meeting. So this is a meeting that we have quarterly with our entire team. And that's another intentional piece. When we have these meetings, we gather every single member of our team. We order in an amazing dinner from a local restaurant. Everyone gets together and visits. We have a relatively short, kind of more formal meeting, but we're essentially revisiting all of the things like our values and putting on the show and what does that mean. We're looking at things that we've done, where we've gone, where we're going. So we really do have a lot of intentionality around continuing to build that culture.
For sure.
We even, we received a review yesterday, and the words that were used, it was so beautiful. Someone just said that all of the staff at the Columbian are so joyful and kind. And that was just like the most beautiful description of our team.
Yes.
And kind of the feeling that people will get like when they walk into our shops.
Yeah. But that only happens
Yeah.
because it's done by design.
Yes.
And I think
Yeah.
because there's not a lot of material out there
Yeah.
for people to actually understand this. Like, think of the books or like the materials that
Yeah.
we had to go through
Yeah.
to like Walt Disney and kind of like pick the thing that works for us. I recently listened to Four Seasons, which is how the Four Seasons came to be, Unreasonable Hospitality, like all those different tools that give you like little nuggets that you can adapt to what actually fits in for
Yeah.
you. Because we are not told that building culture like in school. Like we're being told, oh, build culture in a business, and everybody has like these things plastered across the way in the kitchen. But it's just like that's not what it is. Building culture is actually building that human connection within your team. And without deviating too much from it, let's talk
Yeah.
more about the show. It's
Yeah.
just like when we are so intentional about putting on the show because that's what keeps the guests coming in, which means that's what keeps the lights on. That's what keeps all these people employed because it's a huge responsibility to employ them all.
Yeah.
It's explaining all those things is the why. Why do we
Yeah.
put on the show? Well, because that's what makes the business viable.
Yeah.
And people work hard for it. And if you find the right people, again, it's very natural.
Yeah.
It's not rehearsed. And when you also empower them to do anything and everything that they can in their abilities or power to make that business unreasonable or like unforgettable, then it just allows people to do that. Like you have to empower them. And I think that's something that we have also worked a lot of, kind of like leadership. Like we don't want just baristas, we want leaders.
Yeah.
Because regardless of whether you're a store manager or a team leader or just a barista,
Yeah.
you're still a leader within our company because you can lead the charge in an interaction with a customer to make sure that they're amazing and that person is wowed before they leave our store. Like, I'm going to share with you a really cool story. So we have Jason. And I don't know if I had shared this with you, but recently we promoted him to being a manager, and Jason has like the kindest soul. Like he's very nice. But Kristen, our operations manager, came to me and she said, "You wouldn't believe what Jason did." And I'm like, "What happened?" And she's like, "Well, there were these bikers that came into the shop, and all of them but one wanted coffee. But one of them said, 'Oh man, I don't want coffee. Can I just get a water? I would really love a banana right now.'" And Jason kind of like kept that in the back of his head. And then he got the order for everybody. He brought him out because they were sitting in one of the back seats at the Glenora store.
Yeah.
And he brought all those things. This guy had seen that Kristen, our operations manager, had a banana in her lunch bag when he was in the back kitchen. And he went up to Kristen and he's like, "Hey, Kristen, could I have your banana?" And she asked him why. He's like, "You know what? This is the deal. This whole group," and I think it was like 6 of them, came in and he's just having water, and all of their friends are just having coffee, and I kind of want to do something special for him. So she's like, "Yeah, please do. Go take it." And literally the way that it was described to me is that he went up and said, "Well, you really wanted a banana. Here's a banana for you." And the whole group of people just like started roaring and clapping and just like this whole interaction that everybody was looking like, what happened? And it's just like, that is so amazing. Like that biker is going to remember that somebody at the Columbian took care of him and did something unreasonable to create a special moment, not just for him, but for everybody. So when you're able to empower your employees to do something like that, like that's very special. Like
That's quite unreasonable
I know,
hospitality.
like I love that guy, and it's just like now he's managing one of our stores. He's bringing those attributes into the culture of that store.
Yeah.
And like that's what hospitality should be. Like when I go into a restaurant, when I go to a hotel, when I go to a place, actually most businesses, like I want to have an experience. Like I don't want this to be transactional. I will let you take my money, but I want you to like make me feel good about parting with my money. And I think that's what a lot of people in our in our industry complain that, oh, like it's so hard or this or that. Mm-hmm. But I think we need to look within and just see, okay, like where have we gone wrong? Like we have gone so much about like let's make money, let's make profit. Maybe let's take care of people, and those things will come along.
Yeah.
And I guess those are my 2 cents when it comes to hospitality and putting on the show, and that's what's made the Colombian very successful.
Yeah.
So, Kristen, I guess in your words, you were one of the architects of what the Colombian is today. What do you think, in your own words, putting on the show or performing for people really does for the people that come through our doors?
I mean, it's something that we have intentionally been doing since day one. And I think we continue to tailor it, and we continue to go farther and try to become more unreasonable about creating those really special moments for our guests. You know, even our terminology, we don't actually call the people that come to our shops customers. That's very transactional.
Yes.
They're guests in our shops, and we are hosting them, and it is a privilege. And I think it's all of those small details. So, you know, when we hire new people to join our team, we of course have quite like a rigorous training program. And hospitality, like the first level, is one of the training kind of modules that our team goes through. So we don't just talk to them about, oh, make sure you're doing this, this, and this. We actually do like role play. So when we're
that is so important.
It's so important.
That
like
actually,
the practice.
Yeah, like definitely.
Yeah.
Like I think that's one of the things that allow people to kind of like create their own way in the Colombian by just like being able to rehearse before we throw them out into the main stage with people. So
that's huge.
Super cool.
Rehearsing and again, you know, some people might think, oh, if you rehearse something, then it's not genuine. I will tell you that anything that is really important, maybe you are working behind the bar in a cafe, maybe you are teaching a class, rehearsing actually shows that you care about what you're doing and you want to provide the best experience for whomever you're impacting. And so, you know, having that time to rehearse kind of like with your peers, it does give you like that kind of ability to like practice and not feel weird, especially if you haven't worked for a business that does have this type of intentional hospitality. So rehearsing, just like you would rehearse if you were in a play and you want to do a really phenomenal job, rehearsing is like highly recommended.
Yeah, it's just like practice when you play a sport, and because our sport is hospitality, you gotta rehearse
exactly.
it so that when you show up to play, you're ready to pitch.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, no,
absolutely.
It is very cool.
Yeah.
What do you think we should leave our listeners with? If there's one thing that they can start doing tomorrow, because I also understand that a lot of people have businesses, and this is a huge project. This is almost like revamping who you are.
Yes.
But if you could give them one thing that they could start doing in the next week to really make a difference, what would that be?
The most simple thing that you could imagine that would change everything. Greet every single guest that walks into your business. Acknowledge them immediately. Look them in the eye. See
love
them.
it. I had that in the back of my mind. Like acknowledging people, it has such a power to kind of like just like grab them and we're gonna take care of you. So yeah, I do agree with you. Like thanks, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Just really acknowledging people is the best. So there you have it, people. The value of the show, what performance has to do with running in hospitality. So please please just acknowledge people and put that intentionality forward. Thank you, Kristen. It's been
Thank you.
fun.
Till next time.
Next time.